Hey Haunter, Squash here. Hope you're doing well in this beautiful day. We're here for episode 2+3 of Nigel Thornberry gets reincarnated to Monster Hunter Wilds and learns the switch axe to solve the wyvern milk factory issue. Last episode, we dunked on an MMA ape Agarakan, chopped a self-grilling squid, New Udra, and released an emo bear guardian Dashaguma. Enough recap, let's fight emo Rathalos. Guardian Rathalos. Oh, you mean the flame-belching, sky-dominating, talon-toting wyvern with a superiority complex the size of the Elder Recess. Yeah, let's talk about why the switch axe, the Swiss Army nuke of Monster Hunter Wilds, makes this fire turkey look like undercooked barbecue. First of all, Guardian Rathalos thinks it's special. It's got armor, fireballs, swooping aerial assaults, and the audacity to scream at you like it just stubbed its toe on a divine relic. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter how many flaming orbital strikes it calls in from the sun itself. Because when you unsheathe the switch axe, you've effectively pulled out a weapon forged by the gods of Get Down from there. Rathalos flies? Cool, so does your axe. It doesn't have wings, but it transforms, because unlike Rathalos, your weapon knows how to evolve. Sword mode is basically aviation insurance. You jump, you slide, you fly through the air like a caffeinated banshee and cut a living fire dragon out of the sky with style. You think Rathalos is intimidating because it can do a 360 noscope tailspin from 30 feet in the air. Cute. The switch axe doesn't care. It laughs in elemental hit zones. Sword mode says, "Oh, your hide's tough. Let me just overload your entire existence with file energy and carve a crater into your clavicle." Did I mention the explosions? Because every time you transform mid-combo, you're not just attacking, you're emotionally damaging the ecosystem. The switch axe turns fights into pyrotechnic therapy sessions where Rathalos is the patient, and your attacks are very loud, very sharp trauma. Let's talk range. Rathalos has fireballs. You've got a sword that turns into a whip hammer, chainsaw, space laser combo. You can reach him, you don't need a bow, you don't need Gunlance math. You just hit forward and spin like a Beyblade made out of volcanic vengeance. And stamina, the switch axe doesn't even care. While dual blades are over there chugging stamina like frat boys at a Red Bull tasting convention, the switch axe is conserving energy like a Zen monk with a power drill. You pick your moment, slide in, unleash hell, then coast on the smug satisfaction of knowing Rathalos just got diced like an onion on a cooking show hosted by the apocalypse. He roars, cool. So does your weapon. It roars when you activate sword mode, when your file gauge glows like an angry Christmas tree, and when you do the zero-sum discharge, which is Latin for oops, all pain. You latch onto him like an electrical leech from outer space and just vibrate his skeleton into compliance. Let's talk mount potential. You ever seen someone run up a wall, modes midair, and land on Rathalos like a goddamn superhero? Because the switch axe does that on accident. It wasn't even trying to mount, it was just vibing. And the best part? You can look stylish doing it. Every switch axe hunter looks like they just walked out of a glam metal concert where they fought dragons for fun and shredded guitar solos with their actual weapon. You don't fight Rathalos, you perform on him. Meanwhile, Rathalos is having an identity crisis. He's supposed to be the king of the skis, but he just got turned into sashimi by a glorified transformer wielded by someone wearing bone armor and flip-flops. Also, Guardian Rathalos fireballs, joke on him. The switch axe wants to catch on fire. That's just extra flair for the highlight reel. You take that damage, roll through it, activate power files, and then ignite his entire legacy with a 3-button combo that hits harder than family trauma. And when Rathalos finally crash lands in a desperate attempt to run away, tail dragging, wings busted, pride in shambles, what do? You chase him. Not because you have to, but because you can, with a sword the size of a midlife crisis. You walk into that nest, he's trying to sleep, and bam, zero-sum discharge. You light him up like a medieval rave and then carve his tail while he's still processing why gravity betrayed him. The switch axe doesn't fight Rathalos, it rewrites the lore. You thought Zinogre was the rock star. Nah, this weapon's the whole concert. Rathalos was just the opening act and the switch axe didn't clap. By the end of the hunt, you're not just victorious. You're legendary. Guardian Rathalos is gone, and all that remains is a flaming crater, your victory pose. And the haunting memory of that time, a shape-shifting murder machine taught the apex predator of the skis what it means to fear a glowing axe with commitment issues. Switch axe against Guardian Rathalos. That's not a matchup. That's a war crime with style points. We skip repel quests. Those are boring up next and upset Chihuahua. Guardian Ebony Odogaron is what happens when you combine a demon dog, 10 pounds of rage, a dozen switchblades, and the raw energy of a toddler hopped up on cough syrup. It doesn't walk, it slides across the battlefield like a possessed curling stone, carving grooves into the dirt and into your dignity. But that's fine. That's good. That's great, actually, because you didn't show up with a longsword or a bow or anything that requires patience or precision. No, you brought the switch axe. Which means the conversation is no longer, how do I survive? But how do I personally end the bloodline of this land shark with a glorified energy chainsaw? Ebony Odogaron thinks he's the main character. He skitters across the terrain like he's trying to win a Tony Award for Best Interpretive Stabbing. Every attack is a blur of claws, teeth, and the distinct sound of your hunter going, "Oh, come on." But you just plant your feet, take out a weapon the size of a canoe paddle carved from pure aggression, and say, "No, I am the drama." He lunges, cool. You pivot and deliver a sideswipe so immediate registers on the Richter scale. He swipes with those bleed-inflicting claws like he's trying to turn your intestines into a ribbon dance. Neat. You answer with a charged explosion to the kneecaps that makes his skeleton question its life choices. You don't dodge. You assert dominance through damage numbers and reckless optimism. Ebony's entire gimmick is bleeding you dry. But the switch axe is powered by emotional bleeding. You think your health bar going down stops this weapon? This weapon is fueled by mutual suffering. Its attack's write-off in the form of carnage. It sees your damage and raises you a file explosion to the temple that's part attack, part middle finger. He's fast, so what? You don't have to be faster, you just have to be bigger and louder. Your combos last so long you can file your taxes between swings. He zips past you and you're still mid-combo, but it doesn't matter because when your axe finally lands, it doesn't hit him. It hits time itself. That explosion isn't about precision. It's about making a statement. You don't play footsies with this monster. You turn the battlefield into a legally questionable fireworks show. Ebony claws the ground and screams like a banshee trying to sue you for existing. Good, let him scream. The switch axe is already yelling louder. Your sword mode hums with energy like a live wire dipped in espresso and regret. That file glow, that's not just aesthetics. That's a warning label. When you enter sword mode, it's not just an upgrade. It's a spiritual awakening that says, I no longer respect your hit zones. You don't just fight him, you process him. You convert him, from snarling beast to pile of carbs. You ever unload a full zero-sum discharge into his chest while he's mid-roar? That's not damage, that's debt collection. That's reparations for every cart, every bleed tick, every time he leapt backwards and clipped you with one pinky toe and it somehow counted as a fatal hit. And when he jumps back, panting, twitching, flaring those glowy red claws like a gothic lightsaber, that's your cue. That's when you slam that mode switch, turn the axe into sword, and activate a combo so long you legally need a calendar to finish it. You don't even care if he moves. The sheer ow-ee from your file explosions means you'll accidentally hit him on the backswing from tomorrow. He goes into his rage mode. Big mistake. All that means is he's now 20% faster, 50% angrier, and 100% more likely to sprint directly into your sword mode like an angry steak on a grill. He becomes more dangerous. Cool. So do you. You start glow-sticking around the battlefield like a rave-themed executioner, every swing sending out little shockwaves of violence and emotional closure. And when he finally limps, when that terrifying blur of claws and teeth suddenly starts dragging itself across the dirt like it left its car keys back in the rotten vale, you follow, not with mercy, not with pity, but with the calm satisfaction of a taxpayer reclaiming what's theirs. You sharpen once just to flex. You walk into his den, charge that final hit, and unleash a combo so powerful the game's frame rate starts coughing. He dies not with a bang, but with a burst. A blast of file energy and switch-charged satisfaction that marks the end of his reign of terror and the beginning of your victory scream. You see, the switch axe isn't just great against Guardian Ebony Odogaron. It's the reason he's no longer invited to family reunions. And right after you skip the cutscene, the game throws you onto another fight. Without break, just life like who throws you around, so have a break. Have a Kit Kat, not sponsored by the way. Suwu, oh ho ho. You mean that interdimensional seafood platter from Monster Hunter Wilds that looks like an octopus, a crown, and a haunted chandelier got caught in the same teleportation accident? That thing. That flailing, crown-headed, mist-puking, sword-armed calamari buffet with 8 limbs and 0 chill. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about why the Switch Axe is not only great against Suwu. It's the cosmic mistake that the devs regret letting you bring into that fight. Suwu enters the arena, gliding in like a mythical sushi boss with performance issues, just oozing golden mucus and radiating that I eat constructs and nightmares for breakfast energy. It's floating, it's glowing. It's got more spikes than a porcupine-themed nightclub. Hunters panic, great swords bounce, bowguns misfire, but Switch Axe. Switch Axe takes one look at that bioluminescent fever dream and goes, cool, let's make ceviche. 6 limbs, 6 razor-tipped, gold-encrusted spaghetti whips of doom. Sounds like 6 opportunities to proc part break. You ever spin slam through a golden blade mid-animation, and then immediately chain into sword mode like you just got possessed by the ghost of every anime protagonist ever. Because the Switch Axe does that with muscle memory and pure contempt. Suwu stretches those limbs across the map like it's trying to high-five every living thing on the continent. But here's the deal. Range means nothing when your Switch Axe has range and reach, and also a file combo that makes tectonic plates flinch. You're not playing Monster Hunter anymore. You're playing Industrial Tentacle Processor Simulator. It throws mist, that's cute. Suwu thinks it's a ninja, it's not. It's just a panic fog machine on legs, while other weapons are tripping over their lock-on, whiffing attacks into the abyss like they're fighting a dream, your mid-transform combo closing distance like a heat-seeking blender. You don't care where it is, you just hit in every direction. You're not attacking a weak spot. You're carving a new one, missed. No problem, you swing until visibility is irrelevant. Then it flattens itself like it just got steamrolled by existential dread and repositions behind you. Perfect. Because Switch Axe wants you to turn around. That's the warm-up. That's the cue. You flip your grip, swap to Axe mode, and let off a 360 spin that hits behind you, to the side, through a wall, and probably back into the previous zone just for good measure. And let's not forget that big slam attack. Suwu winds up like it's charging the spirit bomb, lifts its glowing belly full of death and eldritch geometry, and launches itself at you. This is supposed to be a one-hit kill, but you're already mid-zero sum discharge, clinging to its flank like a glowing barnacle with anger issues, carving up its ribcage while it's airborne. Suwu hits the ground, you keep drilling, and the monster just forgets how to be alive for a second. Also, that underside, that glowing, spiked, vulnerable underside, that's basically Switch Axe target practice. You wait for that launch animation, dodge, roll once, and suddenly you've got front row tickets to the file dump symphony in G minor. That's your moment. You're not dealing damage, you're serving justice. And the mucus. Let's talk about the mucus. It tries to fling hardened gold spears at you like Poseidon went through an arts and crafts phase. But you've got an axe made of indignation and science fiction. You just power through. The weapon is so heavy it shrugs off projectile physics like, you throw spears? That's cute. I am the spear. Then enraged, Suwu starts leaking mist from its alien crown like a vape god with anger management issues. It starts teleporting around, repositioning, trying to get clever. But guess what? Switch Axe isn't about precision, it's about presence. You occupy space with such aggressive energy that Suwu can't even appear nearby without getting clipped by the tail end of a wild overhead that just accidentally broke 6 hit zones and gave 3 status effects. You don't read its moves, you anticipate them by deleting them. Suwu spins, you're already spinning harder. Suwu flees, you chase it down like a tax collector wielding a lightsaber. Suwu eats a construct, not on your watch. You leap in, Switch Axe revving, and interrupt dinner with a high-impact combo that sends construct bits and regret flying in every direction. By the end of the fight, Suwu isn't just dying, it's reconsidering its life choices. It goes from majestic ocean horror to seafood platter with glowy bits in one final explosion of teal guts and broken pride. You sheathe your switch axe, walk off with glowing files still crackling, and Suwu's spirit just slowly fades back into the brine dimension from whence it came. Suwu thought it was the hunter, but you brought a switch axe. And that means Suwu was just the appetizer. 8 minutes and 38 seconds to kill a Suwu. That's good kill time, I believe. Do you another thing I believe? I believe in you, you beautiful good-looking bastard. Have a nice day.